Becoming a gold medal winning athlete requires a level of dedication and sheer hard work beyond the capabilities of most of us. All the more reason then to marvel at the achievements of our Paralympic sports stars who've overcome physical disability, mental anguish and the unkind words of strangers to make it to the pinnacle of their sports.
Team SA Paralympics Tokyo 2020 was made up of 34 athletes, bringing back 2 bronze, 1 silver and 4 gold.
I was bullied when I was young. I couldn't fight back. They would basically punch me or do anything and then they would run away and I wouldn't be able to catch them because they're just too fast.
Wheelchair-bound from birth, Ntando Mahlangu was 10 years old when the decision was made to amputate both of his legs. He was fitted with prosthetics and had to learn how to walk. Jumping Kids, started by Johan Snyders, got Ntando his prosthetics.
And I went to see Johan in this room. He was sitting there, I was sitting there. And then he asked me, he said, "Young man, how can I help you?" And I said to him, "I just want to run." A week later, I came in and I was fitted with my first pair of cheetah blades.
Anya, there you go.
In just 4 years, Ntando was not only walking, but standing on the podium at the 2016 Rio Paralympics, silver medal in hand.
I grew up with the fact that I need to look a certain way. I don't have a hand, so I was challenged with this image, how beauty looks.
Born with a congenital defect in her left arm, Anrune Weyers started running to fight her own insecurities about being born imperfect in a world that expects perfection.
My little hand looked like a 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏, and then it was called so many names. And if I go back, I just think it was kids. I didn't know how to handle it. A friend introduced me to running in grade 4. And it was kind of like I had so much fun being there. It was sometimes difficult, some of the sessions, but I think that's the part of Anrune that made me who I am, because I felt I actually have a part in the world. I actually have a worth somewhere.
From when I was 6 years old, I really wanted to go to the Olympics.
A dream shattered or deferred when Pieter was hit by a car in 2003 and broke his neck, leaving him paralyzed from the chest down with limited arm and hand function.
I was on the way to the chiropractor to get my spine in alignment. A car knocked me off my bike and it knocked my spine completely out of alignment. And I broke my neck and I ended up as a 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝘀 quadriplegic.
Medal or no medal, every one of our athletes at the Paralympics did something astounding and inspiring, changing how we see disabilities, making the seemingly impossible possible.
I was told I won't be able to dress myself. I can't move my hands or fingers at all. So the only movement I have is my wrists, my biceps and my shoulders. And for me, it was fun. And I saw it as a challenge to figure out how to dress myself.
5 years later, Pieter was competing in the Berlin Marathon, winning medals in Paracycling World Championships, the first quadriplegic to swim Robben Island twice, and finish an Ironman triathlon.
It's very difficult to try and explain to people almost how impossible it is, and doing those distances with only between 10 and 15% of the function that you as an able-bodied person have. But if you put your mind to something and you go for it, it's crazy how much is possible. I've done 4 Ironmans and my first one is still my fastest one. It's insane.
Weyers and Mahlangu won the first 2 medals for Team SA, both of them gold.
Oh, that's big.
We wanted to go to the Paralympics without people knowing about the long jump.
And Mahlangu, 7:02, our new world record.
I wanted to be able to jump over 7 meters. I started the event with my first long jump. I jump over 7 meters. Now the whole goal changes.
And on his 6th and final jump, Ntando won the gold with 7 meters 17.
7:17, he's taken the lead, a world record for Mahlangu.
And then onto his main event, the 200 meters, where Ntando won another gold.
Ntando Mahlangu picks up a Paralympic gold medal.
So you eventually come back from Tokyo.
Yeah.
Now you're experiencing people recognizing you. That must be a whole other wave.
It's very interesting. This other day I was in my school clothes and this guy, I go in and he's like, "Wow, man, technology, this is good." And I'm like, "Yes, man, it's nice." And he says to me, "Yeah, yo, how do you feel?" I'm like, "I'm happy." And he says to me, "Yeah, what do you think about that Mahlangu guy?" And I'm like, wow, that guy is a great guy. And it's like, yeah, yo, man, that guy represented us so well. So in my head, I'm trying to understand, is he joking with me? But I could understand that this guy definitely has no idea that it's Mahlangu in the car. And I kept on just pushing it. I was like, yeah, I want to be like that guy one day. You know, that guy's an inspiration to South Africans. And when we almost got to school, I asked the guy, I'm like, is his name not Ntando? And he picks up the phone and he looks on my profile and it's Ntando. And he's like, no.
My challenge was to go in my races and not overthink. So I prayed for an empty mind, and I had an empty mind. If you ask me about my race, I'm not going to be able to tell you what happened.
Battle for the silver, but it is South Africa's.
Some people said, but why did you run further than you were supposed to? I didn't know what I placed. I didn't know what I ran. I was racing with God, and that was why I was on my knees.
It's a season best, 56.05 for that lady there.
Pieter du Preez's goal nearly wasn't when he thundered down the speedway circuit. Another competitor swerved in front of him.
And he just turned right in front of me. So I swerved, I was on two wheels, and my arm scraped his wheel as I passed him.
That's how close you were.
But look, I mean, in the end, I've got the gold medal, you know, so all things well that ends well. But yeah, I mean, I felt pretty good about my bike skills there as well, you know. I had 30 seconds gap, and I think maybe that extra little bit of adrenaline got me the extra 1 minute 25, because I ended up crashing the competition.
Is this gold special?
You know, I was thinking about Olympic gold since I was 6 years old. I still think my Ironman is the most amazing thing I've done. But this gold is the culmination of that over 35 years.
Has it sunk in?
When I arrived here, I think it's almost everybody in this suburb came out and stood on the side of the roads, cheering me on. You know, I burst into tears. I don't cry a lot, and I don't cry easy. And it's a privilege and an honor and humbling to realize that doing something like this can make a small little impact and give a little bit of hope, even just to one person, then it's enough.
Having a disability, people think that you cannot do something. And that's the beauty of Paralympics, is you think, how would someone swim without arms? How would someone run without a leg, or without two legs, or without a hand, or without seeing? And then it's like, but they use what they have just differently.
There are many Ntandos who are also 8 years old, who might be in wheelchairs, or who might think, wow, my goals are limited.
I'm at a place now where it's my job to inspire and to create opportunities for others. You know, people have been asking me, so what about Paris? I'm like, no, that's definitely not my goal. You know, I would love to go to Paris and represent my country again. But for now, my main goal is where I create more opportunities for people like me, because one of the most important things, you know, in my life was getting that opportunity to be able to be myself and using it like 150% and to give back to the young ones in South Africa.